Hey, what's up everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so to be honest with you, I'm stalling. My legs feel wobbly today and I'm tired, and I'm supposed to be finishing up my squat regimen right now. I got about 6 more sets left and I'm gonna create some content to give myself a break, but nevertheless, it's only 18 minutes on here, so I'm gonna use less than that obviously. But I just wanted to talk about Jason Tatum's upcoming extension, the possibility of him getting $338 million for 5 years is legitimately on the table, and I was just going to react to that. Wow, that is big money. Would I pay Jason Tatum that? Yeah, for sure. In this market, yes. Jason Tatum is a superstar. He's a cornerstone. He's the #1 in Boston. They've been to the finals now once. Knocked on the door with the Eastern Conference Finals many times in a not going to say in a row, but they've been knocking on the door for a while now. Them in Miami has pretty much been what it's about in the Eastern Conference. Even though neither one of those teams can seem to capture it, they always are right there. So you would think that with Boston being, you know, of all like age, I guess you can say everybody's at the same age, they're on the same path as it pertains to the years that they're trying to lock everyone else together. It just makes sense that you would give him the supermax and not reserve anything, especially since they just paid Jaylen Brown $304, I believe it is, for I think 5 years. I believe it was a 5-year deal. I would imagine they're going to keep Jason Tatum on that same path and just keep the continuity going with this team. I just wonder, I really wonder if the dynamic that Boston has is going to still be what it used to be now that Marcus Smart is in Memphis. That's really what I have to say about the Boston Celtics. Just off top, I know that they have other opportunities at playing guards that they really like. Malcolm Brogdon, they thought they were going to be able to move him to the Clippers, and that didn't get done based on his health, and I understand that that might still be in question with the elbow or what have you. You know, I do have some questions about the Boston Celtics as it pertains to how good do I expect them to be. Now, with Porzingis coming off a fantastic year, and him kind of rounding into his prime right now, this is a great year to have him. And I'm pretty dang certain he's going to fit right in with Boston. And I wouldn't be surprised if he starts, you know, solidifying himself as somebody that they're going to historically appreciate. It would not shock me at all, especially with the style of play that they're expected to play with, shooting the 3-ball, and that being one of his strengths. I think this could be the beginning of something good with him for them. And so that's unfortunate as a Laker fan, but more so it's something I can observe and kind of predict would give them a lot of success. Having him and of course Time Lord, and of course bringing back Al Horford, who seems to, even though he ages, his game is so fluid, he can spread the floor well, he plays tough. Even if he ages, he's still going to be more effective than the average player, just because of it. So I still think he can probably contribute as like the 4th or 5th big. My curiosity for them is also how they're going to use the guards. Are they going to move up Peyton Pritchard? I really think this is a year they should either showcase him to keep or showcase him to trade, but they should definitely give him some minutes this year. He's a very good player, and he just hasn't had an opportunity to show just how dangerous he could be stretching the floor for teams. So he's somebody I've had an eye on for a long time. At this point, it's 3 years in, and he's kind of taking the Terry Rozier path behind the guy, and trying to make it in Boston. It just needs an opportunity to get the heck out of there so he can show that he can do some things. He's in the exact same situation, and Boston tends to do this with their guards to keep depth, but it doesn't get them off to the best start they can get off to for their development. So that's one thing that's there to see. Peyton Pritchard is a player who you could probably get for the cheap right now if they decide to trade him, but I don't think they would trade him right now. I do think that they would start the season with him just fine sitting on the bench, and that's just very unfortunate. So not to say that I think he's proven that he's a starter in this league, but I do think that he should be given some real legitimate opportunities that I don't see there. So that's what comes to mind. But, you know, when I also look at the Celtics, I just double back and I say, you know, Jason Tatum is the engine that makes it all go. Obviously, Jaylen Brown as well. That duo is proven, but it's never, ever dealt with anything without Marcus Smart. And I just don't know that they don't come together to make that dynamic, all three of them, not just two of them. And I really legitimately think Boston's going to have a hard adjustment to make. I like that they still have Derek White. He's one of the better contracts in the league, in my opinion. One of the better role players in basketball. So you got to appreciate that him going into this season, he's still got plenty to give you. He's probably entering his prime like a guy like Porzingis. Same thing, not too old. In fact, probably going to give you a hard punch this year. So you just see it rounded into form for the Boston Celtics to be one of the elite basketball teams this year, if health will permit that to be the case. And, you know, I think they're a good bet to win the championship this year as any. I really do. I hate it as a Laker fan, but I do appreciate that my team should give them all they can handle if we're able to do what we're expected to do as well. So, you know, could this be the year where we get a Lakers-Celtic final once again? You know, it's obviously been some years since we've seen that. I think the Lakers, it was 2010 when Kobe and Powell were able to capture that championship. And, of course, in 08, we also saw them as well, where they were able to get us in 6 games in the Radmanovic year. That's how I remember it, the year we didn't play Trevor or Reason. I thought it would have made all the difference. Plus, Bynum was hurt, so we didn't have the center. It was no way for us to go up against Kevin Garnett without him. But nevertheless, you know, we can reflect on what we remember. And, of course, there are many, many others behind that were before my time, but obviously even more relevant. So that's what it's about when we consider the Boston Celtics. We respect that they have 17 NBA championships, and they're trying to capture that 18th. And I think signing Jason Tatum to that max deal will go a long way in assuring that they have the best chance to do so. I didn't necessarily feel that way with Jaylen Brown, but I definitely feel that way with Jason Tatum. And that's just what it is. So don't be surprised if someday down the road Marcus Smart returns to Boston. It just makes the most sense. Life is not right without him there. As a basketball fan, it seems kind of weird with him anywhere other than Boston. But I will say that he fits right in Memphis about as well as he would fit in anywhere else. And so he could find a new home there that maybe he won't want to leave. But dare I say that I don't know that the Boston Celtics can win a championship without Marcus Smart? Dare I say that? I don't know that they can win a championship without Marcus Smart. That's really what it comes down to. Now, one would say they haven't been able to win one with him, but I don't think you would blame him for anything. Really, he's played great with the minutes given, and that's why he was a covetable player. That's why they kept him for as long as they did. I just think he's such a key piece to what they do defensively, and he's such a spark plug when he gets hot offensively. Such a player that does dynamic things to kind of complement the other guards on the floor with him when he's down there. With a guy like Derek White, he's better. Down there with a guy like Malcolm Brogdon, he's better. Down there with a guy like Jaylen Brown, he's better. It's just like, I don't know that you can supplement all that you have with a entirely different piece in Porzingis that's going to turn your offense into more so what it should be, which is more of a volume three-point shooting offense, but ultimately removes that dynamic that can kind of chase people around the perimeter. So, and then I don't know that I can trust Porzingis' health. Historically, I know that I cannot. Historically, same with Time Lord. So Williams, the other Williams, is now out the door. Okay, you send him to Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. That's how that went. He signed and trade there. And so you've brought in Brissett in your front court, which is a nice player. I think can do some good things on both sides of the floor. He was a player with the Pacers that showed some fantasy relevance in the past. So I like that acquisition that helped Porzingis. If for some reason Porzingis goes down, you can count on Brissett to play pretty well with the minutes given. So, you know, Boston has a really good team, but I think they're going to greatly miss Marcus Smart's defensive intellect and his overall intangibles out there. I think they're going to miss that piece a lot. I think they're going to be relying upon Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon's health a little too much than what I would like. Porzingis' health and, of course, Time Lord's health a little too much than I would prefer for them. And I just wonder if health is really going to be the problem for the Boston Celtics this season. I just think they're relying a little too much on some guys that probably don't necessarily project to be as healthy as you need them to come together to be who it is you want them to be. That's my only concern. But if they're healthy, yeah, this is a very elite contender. So that's what's on my mind, man. I try to objectively approach Boston Celtics topics. I am aware that I've said a lot of things on this channel that uphold the rivalry, and I stand on that to this very second as a Laker fan. But it's okay to sometimes look at teams objectively and try to remove your fandom and your homerism, so to speak, even with massive rivalries. When you want to kind of assess the opinions you have about the moves that they're making and what you expect to see on the basketball floor. That's what I try to do with this particular team. Plus, there's no bad blood in this era. That's the reality of it. With some of our other rivals like the Clippers, we have things that we've had issues with them as of late. The Boston Celtics, is just historically understood that we will always be mortal enemies chasing the same championship glory, and there's no one next or around us that can even look us in the eye but one another. And so that's kind of how I approach it. There's a certain respect there as well. We've seen solidarity moves made over the course of the recent memory, like them chanting MVP for Kobe or Bill Russell, and the love that ultimately he shared here in LA with our franchise. So there's been some good battles and good ultimate moments of peace. So that's really what I got to say about the Boston Celtics. It makes it easy to make a video like this, but nevertheless, I do think that they're in a space where they can settle into not really thinking too much about constructing their team, more so than just taking what they have, believing in it, and moving forward. After they signed Jason Tatum to his extension, there's really nothing left to do. Of course, you can tweak moves here and there, but they're going to play it out with those guys, with those contracts, and try to just enjoy the synergy of everyone being on the same timeline. So that's what I see there. They've done a great job of hoarding picks, as we know. So they should be getting some good draft picks coming in over the next several years that we're not expecting. It's easy to forget who's done what in regards to attracting themselves or getting attractive trade pieces and things like that. But the Celtics have made some very good moves over the years. And that's why they are in a position to make trades for big talent if they were to choose to. But all in all, they've capped themselves completely out at this point. And once they sign Jason Tatum next year, that's going to be it, unless they move some things around that I don't expect them to do. Maybe trade Porzingis or something like that. I don't expect it, though. So, yeah, it's Missoula ball time for them. They're going to shoot the ball a lot. And it's a thing where you live or die by it. I don't know that signing Jaylen Brown really catered as much to that system. Is it more so signified that they're not as married to Missoula ball as maybe Missoula would hope? So they better work, put it like that. it better work, because Jaylen Brown is not the best piece for the system, and it's the system that's going to go now that contract is signed, if for some reason he doesn't thrive in it. So that's my opinion. It doesn't have to play out that way, but I expect that there will be a lot of pressure on Joe Mazzulla to really shine shooting with the shooting methods that are out there, to just launch to no end. And I just think you need a certain type of team for that. That's my thing. And so picking up Porzingis went a long way in that. Of course, if you sign Jason Tatum, he fits that mold. Actually, Peyton Pritchard, now that I think about it, should probably be given a bigger role, because he's an I ain't gonna say elite, I'm not certain of that, but it's known for shooting the three, and so maybe he'll fit a little better. But that's really what it's about. If I were them, I'd be looking for elite shooting, and that's it. Everything I would be trying to accomplish would be surrounding our team with players that should be able to do it right from behind the arc. And if that's the case, then you won't have any problems with that system, and you probably should succeed to the best of its capability. So yeah, that's really what I think of the Boston Celtics as a whole. I know I came here saying I would talk more about the contract, but with Jason Tatum, but honestly, that is my reaction. I don't think it's a problem you sign him to that amount. I really don't. Where we're at in the market, the type of money that's going around to other players that are not as great as him, with what you expect a guy like Luka Doncic to sign, what you expect Giannis's next deal to be. Yeah, Jason Tatum's going to need his level. He's going to need his level of money, and he's going to need his portion of the cap to represent his stardom. So that's not that's not negotiable in my opinion. He's a top 10 act in this league. And when you see what Anthony Davis just signed for, breaking the record, he obviously his teammate, yeah, he's going to have to get paid, and we know that. So 338 is the max. I would imagine the Celtics are going to be happy to give him that contract. And then from there, I would expect he would finish his career in Boston, or at least the duration of his prime would be spent there. I don't foresee any reason for him to leave, because the way I see it is, if the coaching situation didn't force him out, if various different things with players that have come through didn't coerce him to want to leave Boston after signing this contract and all these different successful moments where he's gotten close to the championship but not quite, it's not going to allow him to ever want to leave there until he captures it at the very least. And so that's what I see there. It's easy to dream about going up in the rafters as a Celtic, and I don't think Jason Tatum leaves Boston. If my gut is telling me anything, I don't think he ever leaves there. He's gonna retire there, and he's gonna go up in the rafters, and that's pretty much gonna be it. So yeah, that's what I see there. That is exactly what I see there. Hopefully, if we're, as the Lakers, obviously we're going after championship number 17 too. We want to capture it before they do. Hopefully they don't get it at all. That's what's in my mind as a Laker fan for real. But all in all, they're going to go after it, and I think they have a pretty decent shot at it, so long as they can keep everybody fresh and healthy. They should be good. Now, for me, I like lessening my risk, I guess is the word I would look for, and probably want to get some more solidified players that I know are expected to have healthier paths. That would be my thing. I would want to do that. I don't know, what's best for the Boston Celtics. I don't follow them close enough to really know, but for the guys that I expect to be injury prone, that I cannot rely on to stay healthy, I would not want to go down that path as somebody who's running a team. So that, like I said, that's my only concern about the Celtics. Other than that, they should pretty much be at the top of the Eastern Conference this year. So yeah, that's pretty much what I gotta say, man. And unless there's something else to consider, there are some teams that could be some dark horses that would ultimately put their reign in jeopardy, so to speak, as it pertains to being at the top of the Eastern Conference. Obviously, the Miami Heat were the team that went to the finals, so we want to acknowledge that the Heat beat them, but the Heat are in flux right now because we don't know if they're going to get Dame. So you look at them, the Celtics as a team in the East. So maybe another team like, I don't know, Charlotte or Pacers or somebody, New York or Cleveland, just emerges out of nowhere. Maybe you see something like that happen. Maybe Miami is able to get Dame, and that puts things in a different space. But ultimately, I do expect the Celtics to be the team to beat the East. So that pretty much runs out of the space that I have. I'm going to finish my workout. I thank you all for watching BDF 44, and I'm out.